What's up, YouTube? It's Mo Trades. Let's go through the chart. I have an update because I gave you some targets yesterday. I said 31, around 31.8, 31.9 if we get there. And I'm going to talk about what Bitcoin needs to do to keep that momentum going. At the moment, if you look at the MACD, the moving average, this shows you momentum. The momentum is to the upside. Clearly, we're getting there. If you try and compare it with what was happening over here at this point, you will notice we were doing the same thing. MACD was coming up and we stalled over here, and we discussed that before. We stalled because of the 800 EMA on the 4-hour, or the 200 EMA on the 200 EMA on the 4-hour, which is 800 EMA on the 1 hour. So if you look at this, MACD is still going up. Even if we go for smaller time frames, the 15-minute, we had a MACD showing loss of momentum, but that's normal in a smaller time frame. You might see that. It could even be a retrace. So what Bitcoin needs to do in order for it to continue higher, we need to hold this region. We need to hold this zone, the 31.7. We shouldn't violate this. The 31.7 zone. To maintain this, as I said, a wave 1 up and a wave 2. So if we look at this way, and I pull the Elliott wave tool, and I say this is if this was a wave 1 and this pullback was a wave 2, and we're going up for wave 3. If this is a 5-wave move, it could just be a correction, a WXY, or it could be an ABC. If it's an ABC, it could go up to the 1.618. I'm just pulling a trend-based fib. So if we say that, let's see, I say that the move started here at this bottom and goes up here and back to this bottom. You can see that the 1-to-1 extension is at 33K, 33,381, and the 1.618 brings us up to the 36K range. That's a bullish count. We could be getting up there. We need to look at the bullish and the bearish, no bias at all. At the moment, if Bitcoin starts violating the 30,600 or goes down to 30,400, then most probably this was just a bounce, a fake bounce, and we're going back down. Bitcoin needs to hold the 30,400 to 30,600 region now. Let's pull the fixed range volume profile and measure this range that we formed after the drop from 32K. And you can see that we've gone above the value area high. So coming down and retesting this is also a possibility, but and then to mess up with our wave count that we have. It can also be an ABC or a W all the way up here. W, X, and Y. Now, what are we looking for? I gave you targets. If you want to see them, watch my previous videos of what targets to look for. But essentially, what are we looking for? How should Bitcoin be behaving if it's going to continue up? If Bitcoin's going to continue up, I would expect a bit of a range over here. Maybe another move up, then a move down to retest this range and continue higher. Or another thing that it could do, it could also come, it won't range and it will drop, come all the way here, 30,620, and continue higher. But if it starts breaking this level, then be aware that it's a possibility we're coming down again. Another thing is that there's a buy signal that was triggered now on the 4-hourly chart, if you look. But don't trade off it solely just on that. The 4-hour is showing an EMA cross here. An EMA crossed on this candle. this spinning top, if you want, not spinning top, this doji. And the buy signal, essentially, when it's triggered, the next candle must open and close above the 8 EMA, which is this yellow one. So we shouldn't drop below this, which is in confluence. We shouldn't drop below this 30,620. But for now, the 8 EMA is over here. The candle must open and close above it, which it is doing at the moment. And if you look at this next candle, should maintain that and not drop further down. Once it closes in 2 hours and 17 minutes, you can get in at the next candle. That would be a more guaranteed trade. But I have a problem with this at the moment. We have the 200 EMA, which is a problem over here. And if you go back, you see it's been a problem all along. The 200 EMA on the 4 hour is the 800 EMA on the 1 hour. So the 200 on the 4 hour, look, we wicked above. We broke above and tried to retest, but we failed again. So you can see whenever we break above it, try to retest, we've been failing for a long time. This goes back to December. The only time we really got support was here, 29 September 2021, on our way, I think, to 69K. These crosses sometimes play out. Sometimes when you get in based on these crosses, it could be too late. So if you see this candle crossed, the EMA cross was on this candle, so that means you would have gotten in. And then this candle, the red candle doji crossed, the red doji crossed the EMAs. The next one open and closed above, then you would enter in this one and you would get a decent move of, it was a 6% move. But if you got in here at the bearish cross and you said, okay, the next candle closed and opened below the 8 EMA, and you got in on this candle as a sell, you most probably would be stopped out or liquidated if you had no stops. Always use stop loss. So problem number one that we need to get go about, or a hurdle that we have to jump above, is the 200 EMA on the 4 hour. Now I'll show you another chart. This is my chart on Bybit. You can see this Fibonacci channel that I have that goes back to December. I charted this in December, December 14th. And this chart, you can see the blue line is a 1.618. It's been some sort of resistance for some time. We went above it and dropped again. At the moment, we have double resistance here. We have the 200 very close by and the 1.618 Fibonacci channel very close by. Another thing that we need to cross if we want to move up, Bitcoin has another problem here. The other problem that Bitcoin is having, this is on Bitstamp, and I drew the Gann fan. This is a Gann fan. And as you can see, oops. At the moment, I have two Gann fans outlaid. One is for support, one is for resistance. If we're above the 45 angle, which is this dotted yellow line, we have good support. At the moment, we're below it, so it's kind of resistance at the moment if we get up here at 35,192. But at the moment, we're slamming our heads on the Gann resistance line, as well as we're above, but we're not really strong above it. We're not showing strength above it. Volume is okay. we pumped, volume went down. It's natural because time to cool off, consolidate or retrace, and then we move up. If you ask me if you should buy or sell over here, I don't think so. It's a wise idea to buy at the tops. It's the same thing that people did over here. They bought over here and many people got liquidated. So buy or sell, I wouldn't buy. I would enter a buy on one condition if I wasn't, but I am in a buy position. I gave you that target before we even started. Before I even bought, I gave you that target at 29.4 and I got in there. So if I want to enter a buy, it will only be at the moment if we break this, come back for a retest of the 200 or even a retrace of this trend line and continue higher. Then only I would enter a buy. You can enter on a rise, retrace, continuation. As soon as we start breaking, I'll show you what I'm talking about. As soon as we start breaking this peak over here, that's where you could enter a breakout trade with stop losses according to your risk tolerance. For Bitcoin to move up, we need to see the DXY tank. The DXY must drop. If the DXY continues making higher highs as it is right now, as you can see, we made a higher high here and we're making a higher high here. It could be going back up. If it goes up, Bitcoin is going to tank. The DXY on the 4 hour doesn't look bullish, but if you look at the 1 hour, you might see a different story. On the 1 hour, the DXY is still holding, same thing, nothing much. But DXY needs to hold this level. DXY needs to go to 101. If DXY is to continue higher, it shouldn't break this 101.293. It shouldn't go below this. It will change the structure. But DXY isn't looking that good. If you look at, because Bitcoin follows the Nasdaq and the SPY, let's look at the SPY. The SPY has a gap over here between 415 and 414. It could move up to fill that gap. It also has a gap over here, but it's been partially filled or totally filled. We have a gap here. We could move up. The SPX is the same as the SPY. Nasdaq, no gaps, but Nasdaq is pulling back faster than Bitcoin. That's the Nasdaq. Let's see Bitcoin. Yeah, Bitcoin has a smaller pullback. The Nasdaq and Bitcoin have a correlation. So if the Nasdaq moves about 10%, Bitcoin moves about 20%. Not exact, but more or less. The Dow Jones need to continue making higher highs. The Dow Jones need to hold this structure. If the Dow Jones starts violating below this, then we're coming down here and looks like a vacuum, like it could just tank. Bitcoin, that was a bullish count. Some targets I would have if I was to look for targets for the up move. If I say this was a wave 1 and this is a wave 2 down, or B, our C wave can go as high as 1.618 over here, but I'm not really happy with that count. I don't feel like we would get there. This is the 1-to-1 extension and that is 1.618. We still have the 200 EMA on the 4 hour and we still have this consolidation that will cause resistance. It will cause resistance for Bitcoin. In the same time, if Bitcoin starts losing these levels, comes down, loses 3600, my next level would be 29 30,700 to look at. 30,100, we saw that it has a level. It's a new point of control, most probably, I said earlier. Let's see the range from here to here. Yeah, that's around 30,000, no, 29,700 is a new POC of this range. But if we zoom out and go on the 4 hourly and switch off the EMAs, turn off the EMAs, and pull the fixed range volume profile for this entire range to see for this entire range where's the point of control. Our point of control is right over here, 29.8, so close by. Value area high, 30,207. Value area low are the same as I marked them previously. As you see, the 4 hour, I wrote the 4 hour value area high. So Bitcoin needs to hold those levels. If this was all a correction, we had a W, we could say we had a, if I pull a fib over here, if the correction was from here, a W, our X was here. Just a second. A W, X, all the way here. Our Y target came to 0.618. It could have gone to 1-to-1, but 0.618 is fine. At the moment, even if we go up, I expect a resistance over here from the 0.618 retracement level and from this block that we have here, where a lot of sell orders came in and people sold into this. Usually on Mondays we have a fake move, so it is a move, but the rest of the week tends, towards the end of the week, tends to go back the opposite direction. So basically is liquidity providers building their position, then probably end of the week they come and take profits in the opposite direction. Let's look at the Ichi cloud on the 4 hour and see where we at. I think we're above support, way above support. This is the 4 hour Ichimoku cloud, and at the moment, let me switch these off. At the moment, as you can see, we are above support, but we have a very thin cloud here that it'll be easy for Bitcoin to fall under if we don't hold support. If, say, by, this is a predictive tool, so say by 9th of June, if we're somewhere here and we're starting to go down, 9th of June will be on a Thursday, I believe, and that's usually almost the time the market reverses. So yeah, we could be going back down. But if we come to the 30,600 to 30,200 range and we get support and you see signs of a move back up, it's a good, you could enter there maybe, and you could have used other indicators for confluence. You could go on the 15-minute when you see that happening and use the MACD and look at the MACD. Are we having a bullish cross at that instance in the 15-minute? If we are, then you also look at your EMAs. I explained that in my videos for beginners. You could check it out. If we see an EMA bullish cross also on the 15 minutes, then that would be a good time to enter. It works out sometimes, of course, using stop losses. All right, trade safe. I'm out. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks.